Now, First Alert 6 weather.
Hello, everyone. Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord here, and we're going to talk about the forecast on the way that has some really nice weather to end the week, but we do have a First Alert 6 weather day on the way for Sunday. I want to make sure you're in the loop as far as that is concerned and show you how things are shaking out with that over the course of the next several days. So we'll be keeping a close eye on our next storm system, and well, let's talk a little bit about how it's going to go leading up to it. 39 right now in Omaha, so we're warming up at a pretty good pace. Look at all the 40s down to the southwest, 30s to the northeast. So great weather by lunch. We should be well into the 50s and climbing. Pretty quiet afternoon all the way around here with a run right up towards 60 degrees. You're going to have some 60s in the metro. The official high down by the river and the airport might be a little bit cooler, but overall, right around 60, a lot of melting expected. By 7 o'clock, we're down near 50, and then cooling off through the 40s into the 30s overnight tonight, and a quiet night setting the stage for one more really good day on the way for Friday, where temperatures are going to surge well into the 60s, likely get close to 70 degrees. So next 2 days are fantastic. Saturday cools off a little bit, 43 for the high there. And the First Alert forecast then all shifts to Sunday. Let's talk about it here and what we are expecting. First Alert 6 weather day. Again, we're going to know more details as we get closer, but increasing chances for sleet and snow impacting travel late morning through the afternoon. Mostly an afternoon thing. Higher chances are going to be near and south of I-80 with this one, and lower totals definitely than what we had with the last storm, but it's still enough to impact things, especially driving between Omaha and, say, Kansas City if you have some Sunday plans with this one. I mean, it's not going to be complete whiteout conditions, but the conditions aren't going to be all that great. So let me show you some of the model data. This is about 3 different runs of different things that we like to use here. This is what we call the ensemble data, and shows we're right on the north edge of a snow system that, again, like I mentioned, I-80 and south for the majority of this one. And we're kind of at the start of it. Now, you're going to notice on a lot of these models that I'm showing you here, the west edge of it, the beginning of it, is not something that's moving in from the west. It kind of takes its shape and starts to produce snow in our area and then moves to the southeast. And you can see the same story on this model. If we look at it here, starting around lunchtime and then spreading to the southeast, this one has a little bit more of a Kansas and Missouri impact with the north edge of it grazing our area. This is a look at the European computer model and kind of shows the tracking. And we're not talking amounts and actual numbers with this, but I wanted to just show you what model tendencies are. It still leans south of I-80 with the majority of this one, but lighter totals as you go north, and it also ramps up as you move east. So it's going to be a bigger problem the further east and southeast you go, most likely, but you can still see how there's some variation in the track, and that variation is going to impact how things would move for us, or how it would impact us. So today and tomorrow, worry-free. 43 for the high on Saturday. And then we can check Sunday, and you'll see here that the clouds are going to thicken up ahead of this. There's the precipitation trying to form in our area. Could be a little mix to start, sleet-snow mix. And then we'll likely start to see that change over to all snow as we progress into the late afternoon and evening hours. Whatever's left for the evening should keep moving off towards the southeast and out of here. Again, this is more of a rain threat for models in Kansas City. So again, there's still some things to be worked out with the track and overall layout of things, but it'll keep marching southeast. And then there's several more systems beyond this, and something that Sunday's system does is kind of kickstart a busier pattern. So let's talk about that a little bit, because what we're likely going to see here is a busier weather pattern that results in several opportunities for mostly rain. Monday evening has the potential to mix in some snow from this one. And overall, it does look like we will see... Hold on, sorry about that. We will see more opportunities for rain and eventually maybe even some thunder shower activity by Wednesday into Thursday. So you see chances for rain every single day. It will not be a washout every single day, but many more opportunities for rain that would result in some much needed moisture, I think. So what we did here is I just ran the moisture potential from the system. Now this is just liquid moisture, rain or snow, and it's not deciphering between the two. This is just what we call QPF, the precipitation forecast. Total moisture. This is Sunday system, mostly south with any moisture. And then watch when we just add on everything that tries to go all the way into early Sunday. That's some pretty good rainfall, especially to the southeast. Moisture potential, different model, kind of does the same thing. A little bit out of this weekend, and then we just keep tacking on more and more through next weekend and the whole 10-day forecast and get some pretty good numbers to the southeast out of this one. So it's going to be a stretch there where it could have several opportunities to bring some soaking rains. Again, when you start to mix in some thunder showers, that's when you get the isolated downpours. It's tough to figure out exactly where those end up going, but that is how things are looking from this as we march on through. And even look into the early part of March, they go a little bit past the 10-day forecast, wetter than average weather, trying to win out over a large portion of the country. So odds are tilted towards wetter than average start to March and a warmer than average start to the month with 40s, 50s, and maybe even a couple of 60s on days where we can dry out. So overall, we are getting a very much a pattern change into next week and beyond in the 10-day forecast. So make sure you're keeping an eye on all that with a very, very busy weather pattern that's likely to take shape here. And what it'll do is bring several opportunities for rain. And when each one approaches, we'll figure out the timing, because each one could even have a little chain reaction of how the next one goes. It brings in some cooler air behind it, takes a while to saturate for the next one, and that starts to create this chain reaction of the timing being impacted by all of them as we go into the next week. But you see temperatures definitely trend more on the warmer side. Doesn't mean we couldn't get some overnight snows when things cool down. Timing of the precipitation moving through will play a big factor, but again, a lot of changes, it looks like, on the way starting Sunday. So enjoy the next couple of days that we have here, because it does look like things will try to get busier with a lot more moisture flowing on through. So that's the way things are looking. We're going to let you guys get back to whatever you're doing here. And Jarrett will be live on midday to talk about all the latest with this. And make sure you keep up to date tomorrow and even into the weekend as we are tracking this next system. It's going to try to bring some snow to the area on Sunday.